Deep Dive with David Stendhal, where we trade without ego, no emotion, no greed, and no opinion. Before we begin tonight's video blog, please read over our trading disclaimer and remember to trade smart and accept the reality that trading futures is risky. This presentation does not provide buy-sell recommendations, and our information is strictly provided for educational purposes only. As always, trade at your own risk and analysis. Hey, it's David Stendhal with tonight's Deep Dive. It is February 8th, 2018, and because of the sell-off in the S&P, I thought I would revisit that particular market. So here's the S&P. The ETF on the long side is the SPY. We have a mixed bag, no surprise here when it comes to the trend, but the technicals are still strong, or at least positive, but we're not really getting anything that's popping up here. So in the coming days, I think that we'll start to see a couple of things that will start to pop up here. If we flip over, and this is kind of the early warning signal again for the S&P, we're starting to see both in the Russell and the S&P 500 some lows. We've got the surge and the flow, which are more profit taking, but we're starting to see the early warning signals of a reversal. And I say early because, well, let's just take a look at the market. Here is the S&P 500 on a daily bar basis. It's the type of situation when you have big down days like we had previous Friday and then into early part of Monday, and you're typically going to see a reversal. It may not necessarily be a long-term kind of V-bottom reversal, but it's going to be some type of a bounce. Then it's not a surprise, despite the fact that it's clear-cut when it hit the 50-day moving average. You can see that after in hindsight, but the reality is that you can see that the market will typically sell off a little bit. Now, from this point forward, we're going to probably see a little more consolidation, and based upon that consolidation and its ability to stay above this threshold here, which is not super strong, but it's strong at 2561.5, and the 200-day moving average. This will be the key for whether or not you want to, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, buy the dip, or if the market's going to have a complete sell-off here. So where we stand right now is we're still in that choppy phase, building out a base type phase, and then hopefully there'll be an opportunity here where the market will start to head higher. Now, the majority of what I want to talk about tonight is a system. We're in the midst of adding some systems finally to the TradeStation App Store. I've got a whole host that are going to be given to TradeStation and start to go through the process where they'll activate us, and we'll start to put them up there. We have a joint system that's actually up there right now, and I want to show this to you. It's called the Condor system. I'm not using this as an advertisement. I'm just simply showing you that these things are available and what actually takes place on intraday systems. So here's today's action. Started obviously here on the open and sold off all the way throughout the remainder of the day. This particular system is one that will react to the market and bail on the positions very quickly, both on the losses as well as the profit taking. So this is a system that one has to closely monitor, and you have to realize that in many cases it's almost best to have the system just trade on its behalf, because it'll be difficult in this type of environment. Not all environments, but this type of environment, it may be difficult for you to be able to react to it very quickly. So what basically happens, unfortunately or fortunately, these are 27-minute bars, and we entered and exit on a 27-minute bar because the market itself was so very volatile today. So we entered and exited, entered and exited, entered, a couple of bars later, exited, same conditions. We have 4 trades today. Here is the performance report that I had a hand in creating many, many years ago. And you can see here's the 8th, where we had one, let's see here, We had 4 trades here today. 350, a 350, a 425, and another 425. And what's nice about this is that in a single day, and this is an unusual day having 4 trades. Typically, you get 1, maybe sometimes 2. So to have 4 trades, obviously there had to be a lot of volatility. But in a single day, even going back in history from the previous day, we had a couple of winning trades. That in that particular instance, the amount of money that would have been made would have covered the expense associated with leasing the system. The system itself is leased through TradeStation for basically $100, I'm just rounding here, per month. And in a day we were able to make I think $1,500 or so, something of that nature. Is that what it is? Yeah, thereabouts. So that being the case, it was a nice profitable day. For the most part, what you're doing is you're getting in and getting out very quickly. It's not always the case where you can have bars where you're in there for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 bars. Each bar is essentially 30 minutes. It's actually a 27-minute bar setup, but it is something that will at least give you some perspective as to what the system's all about and what it can actually do. Obviously, there are going to be times where it actually has losses, no surprise there. But if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this and you're on the TradeStation platform, what you can do is you can come to Signals, Condor 27 system, and you'll come to this particular page. It kind of gives you an overview that it's a system. It trades the S&P 500, doesn't hold positions overnight, go on and on and on. You have the ability to have the system trade on your behalf, or you can visually watch it if that's what you want to do. But you can come here and get the 30-day trial, or click on this button right there. And what it'll do is it'll take you to TradeStation. It will not require a credit card, anything of that nature. You just simply go to the thing, and you'll be able to click and download the system. You'll get exactly what it is that I'm showing on this particular screen. And then if you chose to hold on to the system after the trial was over, then they would start charging you $99 a month. So it'll just simply give you an idea. And I've mentioned this because we're in the midst of taking all of our systems that we trade with and starting to post them up onto the TradeStation App Store, because I get a lot of people that are asking, when the systems trigger, how are you going to actually be able to implement this stuff? And the reality is that the easiest mechanism will be for us to be able to post that information up onto the TradeStation App Store. Click download, and then what you can do is you can activate the system if you wanted to trade on your behalf, and most people don't do that, at least initially. What they do is they watch and they wait and they understand what the system's doing. They feel comfortable with it, and then they have the option to actually activate the systems and be able to have the system trade on its behalf during the course of the day. But most people will just simply watch these bars today. This would have been, I think, difficult for most people to get in as soon as that thing triggered because of the movements we actually had out there. But the reality is that if the system were fully automated, you have a much better chance to be able to execute the positions as we're showing right through here, and have the opportunity to actually start making some of that type of money. This being an unusual day, no ifs, ands, or buts. And what I would suggest is, again, coming to the website, kind of reading over the material that we have here, getting the sample system and seeing how it actually does trade. No doubt there's going to be opportunities where the systems will do well, as it was today, and then there'll be just as many opportunities for the system to do poorly. So full disclosure that it's a system that is out there that attempts to follow a regimented trading plan, as it does, but nothing that I'm associated with or will create on my own will be a perfect system. There are no holy grail systems, so I'm just giving full disclosure. The other thing that I did today, and I will continue to do, not only with the Condor system, but a few other systems that we're going to be loading up there in hopefully in February. It's a long process we have to go through, but we're slowly going to go through that particular process. And what I will do is periodically when certain markets are active and we want to actually show what the system is doing, I'm going to do a screen sharing. So I'm just simply showing this now so that you understand, because I actually did this today and allowed people to see 3 of the 4 trades live. I actually just left it up there so they could actually see in the screen sharing. So what you do is you come to Resources, Screen Share, and then once you do it the first time, then everything's set up. But you just go to Join. It's basically, I'm using a program called Join Me. You can see it down here. But what you do is you just simply click on it, and if you have the app already, it's a free app, then it would allow you straight in. And if you don't, then it would have you go through some type of a download type process. There's nothing to buy. There's not like we're charging you to get into this thing. It's just a program that I use when I do these screen sharings when I actually show the system. So you just simply come to Join Me, click, boom, download the program, and then you'd be given authorization to actually see our screens. And what you'd basically see, and I'm not going to be talking about it because I've got other things I'm doing during the course of the day, but when I do a webinar, we'll talk about these things. But what I would do when I do these periodic screen shares, you just simply see essentially this screen that you're seeing right now, and you'll be able to see what the system is doing live. And I'll be doing this hopefully tail end of February into March, depending upon when the systems actually get up onto TradeStation. Then what I'll start to do is to just simply say, let's look at crude. Let's look at some market that's active and making a major move. And then what you'll be able to do is to see the bars build during the course of the day and see what the system is capable of doing. So that being the case, I just want to at least use this as an opportunity to at least show you that the intention is to show what these things can do live in real time, so that it's not always historic and you're never actually able to see the things build. So both through the trial period, that would be what I would recommend if you're going to be interested in a short-term system. Not everybody is. Not everybody wants to trade the S&P 500, but for those of you that are interested in that kind of a deal, or if you're just simply interested in understanding a little bit more about a system, then take the trial. It's not going to cost anything. And all you have to do is just simply cancel before the subscription will automatically kick in, and everything is cool. In fact, the way the TradeStation operates is you have to go through an additional process, I believe, in order to actually activate it. So there's really no harm, no foul. So in any event, what I wanted to at least mention is the fact that the market has been coming down. It's going to consolidate. Let's see what does take place with these 2 support levels, and then from that standpoint, we'll see as to whether or not the market's actually able to rally, and we'll kind of roll from there. Thanks very much for watching, and I appreciate it.